Here at That Park Place, we've been diligently tracking the occurring and, in some cases, reoccurring maintenance issues and crumbling infrastructure currently plaguing the Walt Disney World Resort. In only the last few weeks, we've covered multiple instances of sewage leaks shutting down entire pavilions and lands, falling objects from ceilings right in the middle of guest areas, and now a massive power outage has hit Magic Kingdom Park. Let's talk about an issue that caused as many as 15 rides to be shut down at the same time here on That Park Place. From That Park Place, massive power outage shuts down Magic Kingdom as Walt Disney World's infrastructure woes continue.
It was a bad morning for Disney on That Park Place.
Yes.
It was. But hey, you know what? When you're paying up to $200 a day to be in a theme park like this, you know what? We have to cover the news because that's what people want here. This published February 11th, 2025. Marvin Montanero! It's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore the mounting issues plaguing Walt Disney World's infrastructure. Hot on the heels of Epcot's sewage leaks and a ceiling collapse inside so and around the world, Magic Kingdom suffered a widespread Disney power outage last night, shutting down more than 15 attractions across the park. This was an insane story because it's like, how can you have so many things go down all at once? Walt Disney remained tight-lipped about the specifics of this power outage. WDW Magic reported that its sources indicated the disruption stemmed from issues from the park's compressed air system, a critical component that supports the facility or functionality of many attractions. The result, a theme park that was barely operational during peak evening hours, and a whole park full of guests who paid full price to get in. At 7:30 p.m. on February 10th, my Disney experience was showing massive ride closures throughout Magic Kingdom. You can see the full list right here. I mean, it's too many to name, but we have some really big ones. Pirates of the Caribbean, for example, Space Mountain, which is huge, obviously. How does Tomorrowland Speedway get affected by any of this? Those cars are individually powered. Guys, what is going on with Walt Disney World?
When the lights go out, I don't think you want people driving around in the dark on that track.
I don't know. That might not affect the quality of the driving on that track. Yikes.
That's true.
Okay, so I will say that we've had multiple sources reach out with explanations, supposed explanations of what is going on here. A couple of things. We know people who are on the same power grid, as in Duke Energy. By the way, if you're not aware of this, Duke Energy supplies most of the power to Walt Disney World right now. Despite those solar farms that they've got out there, those do not do what they would like you to believe they do. Most of the power delivery is from Duke Energy. And people who are on that same grid still had power. So it was not a blackout on the Duke Energy level, at least not for that whole area here. So that is a fact right there. We're also hearing reports of the electrical infrastructure inside Walt Disney World being a little bit outdated. I can't verify that for myself, but would anyone say that tracks with what we've been seeing with the parks right now?
Yes,
Absolutely.
the infrastructure at Walt Disney World is deteriorating. We have had this. There was that massive sewage leak that took down Frontierland and Liberty Square. A little ways back, we just had the sewage leak in the Land Pavilion. Following immediately after that, the ceiling collapse that nearly caused devastation to guests and cast members alike. It's like they want to do all this new stuff. They want to bulldoze all these lands to make way for these new exciting things, but they can't even keep the lights on and the sewage underground.
Well,
Yes.
and that's why they're bulldozing these things, Marvin. That's why they're replacing things that we love instead of actually adding to these parks so that they don't have to add in additional infrastructure to support this stuff. They could just roll on by with the existing infrastructure, keep their level of long-term investment down, and guess what? Generate new demand for an already existing park with the same amount of attractions. This is horrible policy. They should not be doing this at all. And it's interesting because the only attractions that were up were Haunted Mansion, which, very strange. Jungle Cruise, which I get, it's all self-powered there. Tron Light Cycle Run. So maybe they did expand infrastructure for that one attraction. But for the rest, you're on the same grid. Go ahead.
No, they had to add. See, that was one of the reasons why they had to bulldoze so much area for Tron and why they had to reshift the actual exterior wall for Tron is because they needed to add the electrical infrastructure to have that happen. They built another, what they call a power plant or a plant location. And that's kind of the problem, right? It was the same kind of an idea that I had what was going on with the revamped Splash Mountain, moving from more mechanical means to move things around to more electrical means to move things around, and with a entirely not suitable amount of grounding. Or ground faults that were occurring that were causing that attraction failures. This is not going to be uncommon for this park. If anything, they're going to have to build a new power location or a plant location if they go with this dumb cars offshoot trash idea and tearing up the rivers of America and everything else. By the way, what powers the steamboat? Does anybody know?
Imagination.
It's not electricity.
Water?
It has something to turn the wheels. But my whole point being, you have something that doesn't rely on electrical power, and you're going to take it away.
Well, so here's the thing here, and I didn't get to the last one, and this is the person I trust the most out of all of my sources. They're saying that this was not directly an electrical issue here. That they're saying that this was a subsystem that affects most of the park, and someone screwed it up, and now it was not an electrical system. I mean, other than the fact that the system is powered by electricity, it was not an electrical infrastructure issue directly on this one. Now, the other things might have contributed to it, but this is something that appears to be a one-off. And whoever it is, may your employment be secure as you learn from your mistakes here. But so this is not a long-standing thing. If it happens again, yikes. But I don't think that this is going to end up being directly because of the electrical issues at Magic Kingdom. Not discounting anything that you're saying there.
No. It's just this is not without precedent. This has happened before where they've taken down 12 to 15 to maybe more attractions simultaneously because of a power interruption. And it is localized. And as you pointed out, wasn't anything having to do with Duke Energy. So
we know from Sif Todd and the RCID documents that, hey, Disney has, let's say they've prioritized other things over merit. I can't help but think that mindset has been so pervasive, and it might be the cause of so many different things, or at least the indirect cause to so many different things. And it is very, very frustrating. I want to go ahead and feature this super chat right here because I think it really does underscore what's going on here. Kenyon Barnes with $5. So the $60 billion investment over the next 10 years, quote unquote, for the parks is really just a regular budget or possibly a budget cut. And it's exactly what we were saying when the $60 billion was initially announced. Because if you look at the level of investment that Disney has set aside for capital investments, it's very consistent with that number. Go ahead, Culture.
No, I just want to ask Jonas this question. Jonas, what's operational costs, maintenance costs for the parks right now?
I mean, it was something like when they had 30 billion in revenue, they made 25 billion of operating expense or something like that. I mean, they're making very little when it actually comes down to it. I don't remember the number off the top of my head. It's been a couple of years. It's fractional.
I wanted to use that to suggest to Kanan, and maybe you can as well, that I would consider it a budget cut from what they actually need to put into these.
Right. Well, $60 billion in investment over the next 10 years. There are 12 parks. Disney only has maintenance on 10 of them because the other two are operated OLC. Yeah. And also counting so you got 10 parks, 10 years. That's 600 million per park. That's really not that much money when it comes down to it. They are increasing spend at the parks on capital expenditure, but most of that is going towards cruise ships to start. And also half of that is going towards maintenance and technology here. So That
Right.
$30 billion towards maintenance technology. I wonder if that is the high number of refurbishments that we're seeing right now.
Yep.
And I would hope that if Disney is in a rebuilding phase, they haven't told anyone that, but it would make sense for them to be in that. I'm not saying they're not in a rebuilding phase, but Disney doesn't admit to mistakes in any way. So we can't give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. We can't say, oh, well, they're doing the right things to fix the parks, because as far as Disney is concerned, they've never made a mistake.
And remember, two things on that. One, that $30 billion investment, like you said, covers cruise lines, covers the hotels, covers DVC, covers all those investments. And the other side of that, the technology side of it, infrastructure, maybe improvements. Remember, that's all about reducing operating costs. You know, they don't implement technology unless there's a win there for them. Like the multi-million-dollar project to do the turnstiles at Disneyland. That's to reduce headcount at the front there. So it all comes with a price. Thank you so much for that, Ken and Barnes.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.